This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rankem. I'm the host, Big B, along with my co-host, halfway around the world, the Primus, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Excited. Sounds excited. Today's my long day because I get to wake up early tomorrow. But other than that, excited that, today is technically Christmas Eve for all of us football football fans, and I'm excited.
Yep. It is. Get your last minute drafts in. Get your last minute roster changes. There is breaking news. Since we are sports, I know we don't cover football, but the Jets starting guard, I'm not going to pronounce Elijah Van Tucker. Suffered a significant arm injury. He's getting a second opinion, which might need surgery. So good luck to him. We'll probably break that down a little bit tonight on Primetime Blitz. Give our final playoff predictions and start diving into week one. Talk about the big trade that happened literally right after our show. I think it broke, or the day after or something.
No, it was later to me, it was later that day. It was just, it was shocking. And that was the thing I kind of,
actually, you know what? It might've been after, it might've been Thursday. Cause I don't think we did cover it on Primetime Blitz. So.
No. Cause I remember bringing it up I said, my hot take was the fact is that he won't be on the team at the regular season starts, and 8-10 hours later, it was literally making my words seem like truth, and I made a lot of Packer fans happy and made a lot of Cowboy fans really not happy with me.
Yep. Well, I think they're more unhappy with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
But behind you, is that a Michael Jordan baseball jersey?
It is.
Nice.
It's the Barons jersey.
Yep. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. This week we're gonna get back into some football. We started this topic a couple times. We are breaking down the greatest of all time per roster, per team, per franchise. So we got 6 teams. So Tim, let's get it started. Let's get it with the newest team on the list, I guess you could say, the Houston Texans. So the list could be short, but there's surprising names on there that I saw. But how many do you think we're going to get?
3 for sure. It could go if you've gotten some love for what most people don't really give love to, but we might get 4. We could get all 5. There's a complete possibility. I don't think we're going immaculate, but there's a possibility 5. I'll say 3 just to be safe.
I'll say 3. Yep. If you follow the show, we've only done that 5-1 once, where we had them all in the same order. I forgot what the topic was. I should have wrote it down, but
yeah,
we get 5 here and there. But but go ahead, kick it off.
Well, this is the part where I said where you have to really like the big guys on the line to really get us to get 5. To me, I think was the quintessential offensive lineman for the Texans I know it made Dwight Freeney's and Robert Mathis' day a little more difficult trying to get back to Schaub, I think it was at the time. And then a little bit, he lasted a little longer into the Deshaun Watson era. But a hell of a blindside tackle. I really wish that Indy would have gotten him when he came up for free agency, but he never came up for free agency, which kind of sucked. But my number 5 is Dwayne Brown.
Okay, yeah, good guy. I got number 5. When you talked line, I thought you're going to him or this guy. Career didn't pan out the way a lot of people thought, but definitely still had a pretty decent career. Mario Williams.
Saw that name. He was perfect alongside JJ Watt. I thought it made it difficult because that pass rush between Watt and Mario Williams was huge. I actually have an autographed Mario Williams rookie card.
Okay.
I got out of
Take control a second. I gotta go take care of something. Hold on.
So who you murdering? Do I have to murder somebody? My number 4, a wide receiver who's now bounced around the league. Was last time I remember he was in Kansas City. I think is now in I want to say New England, but I can never remember. But he's bounced around. I know he showed up a little bit for the Arizona Cardinals. Really making a name for himself opposite of Andre Johnson. I enjoy this guy. I think doesn't get near enough credit because of being opposite of Andre Johnson, but he's with the Ravens now. I couldn't remember where he was. But my number 4 is DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I heard some ruffling in the back door, so I had to go check it out. So it was just the wind. So you had Hopkins at 4. At number 4, probably a running back that, could have done some things. And I think at the time he was the workhorse. And we know running backs don't last too long. I got Arian Foster.
So I'm gonna guess my 3 and your 3, or my 3 and your 4 are gonna be flip flopped. Because it's not C2C unless you're sniping. To me, for the longest time, I've got Arian Foster at 3. I still remember picking him up in a free agent market his rookie year, and somebody had said you need to pick up Arian Foster, and then Arian Foster goes up against the Colts and rushes for like 190 something in his first game, and I'm like, oh, I picked up the right guy. But yeah, he was the workhorse. I know now it's Mixon and Chubb, but for the longest time, Arian Foster scared people, especially in the South. Yeah, I like Foster. He was a hell of a back in Houston.
Yeah. Well, your prediction was right, because my number 3 is your number 4. Hopkins, what can you say? Talent. The guy came out of college with all the glitz and glamour, the high hopes. Has he lived up to those? A little bit. We'll see where the career ends. It will probably end in the Hall of Fame with the gold jacket. Just win. So, your number 2.
My number 2, my dream came true when he signed with the Colts. I'm like, that's great. We needed another wide receiver. Another wide receiver that's going to go in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's there quite yet, but I think he's got to wait. I think he's going to wait for like a couple people have. I could be completely wrong. No, Andre's in. Now that I remember that, Andre's in. When you think about, that's the thing is, when you think about Houston Texans receivers, there's only one name that you think of. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, but I've already pretty much mentioned him when he when I talked about DeAndre Hopkins, but probably the best wide receiver to come out of the Houston Texans. You're doing the same thing I'm doing. You're looking to see if he's in the Pro Bowl or in the Hall of Fame.
Well, he's been in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he's been in a couple times.
I do not think he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's not in the Hall of Fame as of right now. He's in the Houston Sports Hall of Fame. He's in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. From the hate that word, hate that statement. Nope. He was selected in 2024. So
he was. I just saw that. I was just going to comment on that.
I was so happy for him to be Indy, and then I thought, God, we're going to wreck his legacy by him playing for us. And then he goes to Tennessee and does a wonderful job there too. So he should have just stayed in Houston. But my number 2 is Andre Johnson.
Yeah, Andre Johnson. My number 2. He got me. He's one of the guys that I understand, leaving and trying to get that ring. But again, it's just one of those things too where. Yeah, you probably should have just stayed. Keep your legacy there. That's one thing with a lot of athletes. I know you want the ring. That's what you're there for. There's no, problem going and getting that ring. But sometimes maybe you just gotta stay where you're at. But yeah, Andre Johnson, I believe, is also the first Houston Texan in the Hall of Fame as a Texan.
As a Texan, I believe so.
Because they were they a full expansion team or were they moved somewhere?
No, they were full expansion. Houston,
okay,
Houston came in the same time the Browns came in. Jacksonville came in with Carolina. Jacksonville came in with Carolina. No, but it was Houston and Cleveland came in at the same time. I believe it was Houston and Cleveland came in at the same time.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah, because that's when
actually it would be Baltimore. No, it would be Cleveland. That's right. Yeah,
because that was the time that Seattle moved over to the NFC because they didn't want to put. So yeah, that was Cleveland. I think that's Cleveland and Cleveland and Houston.
All right, you're number 1.
Well, what can we say? A guy who played tight end at Central Michigan and decided to leave Central Michigan to go to a different college altogether, to the University of Wisconsin. Which is funny when you realize that this guy was a tight end. He was a scholarship tight end at Central Michigan, and they're shocked that he can catch. No, nobody who really followed this guy's career should really be shocked by this at all because he, like I said, he was a tight end who ended up becoming an offensive lineman, I believe, briefly at Central Michigan too, and then became what we know from basically defensive line basically University of Wisconsin. What can you say? The guy's amazing on the football field, but he's a bigger humanitarian. After you saw what happened to Katrina and everything else, this is a guy I think chased the ring when he went to Arizona. I thought he was doing what was right. I remember, what was it? My first year with us with the network, we were all thinking he was going to go to Pittsburgh to go play with his brothers, but screwed us all and figured we'll go to Arizona like every other snowbird from Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan, and they all go south or to Arizona, and he went to Arizona. But yeah, you say Houston Texans, you only come up with one name. My number 1 is J.J. Watt.
Yep, I got him at 1. Former commitment to the Gophers. And then rescinded on that when
you guys fired your coach.
Mason. I think Glenn Mason got fired. I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he fired your coach, and then he went to Madtown.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's from TJ's from or JJ's from. Didn't matter which one is from near Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're from Wisconsin, so
yeah.
And that was one of the things is. Why go to Arizona? Why not go to Green Bay? When you thought about or go play with your brothers, like we thought. So
right.
Well, we got 4 to kick it off. So let's go into the LA, San Diego. We're moving this week. Chargers. So I think this is another one. We could get 5. We could get 4. I'm going to go with 4. I think there's 4 strong names that stand out. The fifth one, I think, in my eyes, stands out a little bit, but I know there's other names too that kind of stood out. So
you're thinking 4, I'm thinking 3. Yeah, 4 is a possibility.
yeah,
4's a really good, strong possibility, but you never know.
Well, I'm going to go with the quarterback that left, went to the Indy for a brief time, rejuvenated his career for a second. Wish he could have got a ring, and who knows where his career would have been if they would have kept Drew Brees, or even if they would have kept Eli Manning. But at number 5, Philip Rivers.
Yeah, he would have. Think about the Giants if they would have if Eli wanted to play for the Chargers.
Yep. You're number 5.
My number 5. A guy we lost too early. Got his rings in New England, but every time I think of this guy, I think of USC and I think of the San Diego Chargers. Hell of a linebacker, both at USC and San Diego. He's one of the reasons Wall can never commit to the Los Angeles Chargers. It's difficult. I enjoy watching this guy play, and then just the toll that it took on him to play, to do what he did afterwards it's crazy. Another guy, a reason why I chose the number 55 a couple times in high school, play as 55 between him and Brian Bosworth. I didn't take steroids. Playing Bosworth, but the fact is I like the way they both played. My number 5 is Junior Seau.
All right. Give me a second because I got to do a little research here.
What happened? What did I
a name just jumped into my head for the Chargers. I
think I know who you're thinking about.
I just want to make sure that he's actually played on.
Now that as soon as you said, I'm thinking, oh no, did I? And I know there's one I'd like to put on there, but when it comes to linebackers, it's
no.
You're thinking Sean Merriman, or are you thinking Teddy Bruschi?
No, I am thinking quarterback.
Oh gosh, now you got me thinking of San Diego. Justin Herbert.
No, not Justin Herbert. I can't stand that guy, and I'm glad Minnesota never traded for him.
Mark Malone.
Hold on here.
Or my number 3.
Because it might be your number 3.
Might be my number 3. Sarge is watching. What's going on?
What's up, Sarge? No, it just dawned on me because for some reason it just popped in my head when you're talking. My number 4, I'm changing. I'm taking out my number 4 that I had.
Jim Harbaugh.
I am going with the quarterback. Pod Stars, Rick's favorite player, Dan Fouts.
Yeah, he was there the entire time.
And Sarge ain't wrong. I mean, Philip Rivers was.
Oh, he was a
dream for fantasy football players. So you're number 4.
My number 4 is a weapon that Dan Fouts used a lot. I always remember the picture of the I want to say it's the 1981 playoff game against the Miami Dolphins, where he's being carried off the field, probably arguably in the top 10 tight ends of all time. His kid, big bust, big, huge bust. Hey, I didn't realize Big B was the EST of but I didn't get a chance to watch him too much because at that point, 81, I'm 6. His career was pretty much over by the time I started really getting heavy into it in 83, 84. But my number 4 is Kellen Winslow.
Well, I did double up on my number 3 spot because my number 4 also played the same position as my original number 3, and both of them were heck of tight ends. My number 1 or 3A is Gates, and then you sniped me at that with Kellen Winslow. So, like you said, his kid didn't amount to much. So
you did me so dirty. That's so not fun.
Because
my number 3 is not C2C unless we're sniping. It's the phrase that pays. My number 3 is your number 4. When I came up with this, I automatically thought of Dan Fouts. It's what can you say? He's the reason that I think a lot of the powder blue stuff looks amazing. He gets next to no credit, I think, in San Diego because of recency bias between Phillip Rivers and Drew Brees and now Justin Herbert. I think people forget all about Dan Fouts and what he did. I think it was because Coryell was such a pass-happy, offensive-minded head coach that Dan Fouts becomes such a big name. And hell, he's got a great offensive mind. You can hear it when he calls football games. But yeah, my number 3 is Dan Fouts.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep the theme of the phrase that pays with sniping. My number 2 is your number 5, which kind of intrigues me on who you have up there. Junior Seau, to me, was one of the first 2 names that I thought of when I saw this. And then, of course, a few minutes ago, Dan Fouts popped into my head. But yeah, Junior Seau, again, like you said, lost too soon. I think would have been a heck of a linebacker coach, defensive coordinator, possibly head coach. I don't know if that's what he wanted, but you talk about J.J. Watt being a humanitarian. Fouts Seau was right there with them when it came to tragedies and stuff like that. So, you're number 2.
Well, it's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 2 is one half of your double up, the other half of your double up.
Ooh.
I've got Antonio Gates at number 2.
Oh.
I believe he's not in the Hall of Fame. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one I know is not in the Hall of Fame. He needs to be in soon.
Yeah, if he's not, he should be. Yeah. Sarge brought up, fantasy quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers. Gates and Tony Gonzalez were battling 1-2 on fantasy for tight ends. It's like if you were bold enough to take one early, the next one was going off within the next couple picks.
This year he was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year.
All right, so that's good. So we're a couple years off, I guess. My number 1 for me is no doubter. We talk about workhorses and the few years that he was relevant. The guy was it. I want to say has the most rushing touchdowns in the year.
James Brooks.
Talk about a fantasy dream. Again, it was one of those where, if you had the first pick when he was relevant, you didn't take him, you pretty much got booed right out of your fantasy draft. But my number 1 is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep. It's not C2C unless we're sniping. From my dad's alma mater of Texas Christian University. Yeah. I got LT, the second LT. How that guy hasn't done the Roger Craig Marshall Falk 1,000 is still beyond me. Because he's played with 2 quarterbacks that weren't afraid to dump off. Yep. You had Brees and you had Phillip Rivers, and both of those guys love to dump off. How he doesn't have 1,000? He'd be the perfect back for a screen. He's the perfect back for the screen.
Yep. So we're 4-4.
No, we hit it all. I just didn't.
We did 5 for.
Because I didn't have Phillip
Rivers actually, because I doubled up.
And I didn't have Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would not have had Phillip Rivers if Don Fouts would have jumped right away. I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know why it jumped in my head right there, but we got the 5. The C2C 5, I guess.
Yep, C2C 5.
All right, so let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh.
I will tell you right now, Tim, if you had Tom Brady on there as your top 5,
come on,
your M&M's contract has been pulled.
You have to think about it. I am the much uglier version of mess around. I hate Tom Brady as much as he does. So, and 2 years does not make you the face of a franchise. So,
yeah exactly.
We're good.
No. Okay, I was just thinking because when I was thinking of the list, I'm like, God, where would Tom Brady link up there? And I'm just like, God, he's only there a couple of years. Yeah, they won a Super Bowl. I think they won.
Young's ahead of him. Let's just say that.
What's that?
Steve Young would be ahead of Tom Brady.
Yeah, and he was there less time, I think. So
yeah, year.
All right, I did double up again because I was debating myself on a position here, but yeah, I got God, all these names could jump out though, and I didn't see anybody else.
I'll say 4.
I'm gonna go 4, but I think we could get. I think we could get 5 with my double up. Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
But let's start it off. You go ahead. Give us your number 4 or 5.
My number 5 is the first Tampa Bay Buccaneer Hall of Famer. which is shocking because if you're going to be on some of these lists, you have to be the first. But the thing is, again, it's lucky enough that this team is only 3 years younger, is 3 years older than I am, 3 or 4 years older than I am. So it's cool. I can deal with that. Hell of a defensive lineman. Basically, he was doing LT things before LT came into the league. Before sacks became a collected stat.
You went old school in this.
I went old school. This is the only one I went old school because the 90s look beautiful against the rest of this entire list. But yeah, my number 5 is Leroy Selman.
Wow, you went old school because I'm just like, I'm trying to think. I'm just like, okay, Warsapp is in, Brooks is in, and I'm like, well, which one went first? And then you said before LT, so I'm like, well, both those guys are out. I'm just, yeah. So, all right, my number 5, running backs, fullbacks. I think this guy did it both. I think Warwick Dunn running behind him wouldn't have had the career he had, but again, this guy could also be the full-time running back, and I think he proved that on a few points. I want to say it was Thunder and Lightning was their nickname. But my number 5 is Mr. Mike Allstott.
I think Thunder and Lightning was the Giants. Tiki Barber and Ahmad Bradshaw. But I know they had a nickname, but I can't remember. Yeah. Well, you named one of them. I'll name the other one. The fact is, I hated the guy because he went to Florida State, but he was so fun to watch. Though it was, and then he goes to Atlanta. Then I liked him even more, which was fine. Again, this guy's a scat back. You have to have the quick with the heavy, and you took the heavy at 5. I'll take at number 4. I'll take the quick. My number 4 is Warwick Dunn.
Yeah. My number 4, one played corner, the other played safety, but on the field they were just hard-hitting guys.
Like this, I'm taking this as your double up.
This is my double up, yes. Yeah. At number 4A, Rondé Barber. At number 4B, John Lynch.
Yeah.
Your number 4.
My number 4, well, it's not C2C unless we're sniping.
Actually, no, this should be your number 3.
My number 3.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Still sniping.
All right.
I went to one Tampa Bay Buccaneers game in my entire life. That was the year they decided to. It It was a Packer Buccaneers game the year before they decided to draft Jameis Winston. And the first thing I went to look for was an old school creamsicle jersey of one player and one player only, Mike Allstott.
Okay.
I love Mike Allstott. To me, you put a 265-pound, you put a bowling ball like that behind a line, and then you just go ahead and let him hit you. And he played at a Midwestern school when he came out of college, when he went to college. Yep. So I like Big Ten schools, even though I'm an SEC guy. But yeah, Mike Allstott to me was a powerhouse.
Yeah. And then, speaking of powerhouses on the defensive side, this guy was quick around the end, put him in the middle. He could still get through. I think I'm almost positive he went in as a Tampa Bay as in the Hall of Fame. Mr. 99, I believe, was his number. Mr. Warren Sapp.
Yeah, he went into the Buccaneer. I know that.
Is that the guy? Now the rumor, if it's true, Warren Sapp is the one that stopped The Rock from.
He's the one. He's the one that went to when he went to the University of Miami. Who was it? Jimmy Johnson or Schnellenberger? I think it was Jimmy Johnson. When Jimmy Johnson came in and they recruited Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp's the one that stopped Dwayne Johnson from going into stands and murdering somebody. I know that.
Yeah, but Rock was his backup.
Yeah, he was the backup because Dwayne was the starter in his freshman year, and he was coming in as a sophomore, and Sapp came in and took his spot.
Yeah. All right, you're number 4 or 2.
My number 2. Let me double check because I gotta remember who my number 1 is. My number 2 is it's not C2C unless we're sniping. It's one half of your number 4. My number 2 is the GM now, currently in the San Francisco 49ers organization, John Lynch.
Okay. My number 2 is, I'm trying to think. No, I might have 2 other active players. I'm looking at my list here. Yeah, for sure 2 active players. They call him Mr. Consistent. As a matter of fact, every time in a card break that he gets pulled, they call him Mr. Consistent. One future Hall of Famer, Mike Evans.
He's got to wait. He's going to wait.
He's going to wait. I mean, he is going to
wait. Reggie Wayne is still sitting there. He's going to
wait.
Yeah.
There's people ahead of him, but
there's a bottleneck. So I'm going to guess that I know your number 1 at this point. I think it's not Tom Brady. I'm definitely probably going to snipe you. To me, it's John Gruden. No, I'm kidding. To me, I think another guy who wore the number 55, but I had a smile on my face the moment he intercepted Gannon in the Super Bowl and ran it back for a touchdown. And I'm like, yep, this is – I was so happy to see him do it. Problem is, big problem. I'd like the guy a lot better if he didn't go to Florida State. But my number 1 is 55 himself, middle linebacker, Derek Brooks.
Yeah, my number 1 is your number 1, Derek Brooks. One of the guys, we always talk about the first guy you think of. He was up there. Him and Warren Sapp both up there. The funny thing is, you keep talking about your hatred for Florida State.
I know, and here comes the conversation piece about Deion Sanders.
But your favorite player is Deion Sanders.
Yeah. Everybody says it. Why? My brother brings that up every time. Your favorite player is Deion Sanders, but you hate Florida State. Not my fault.
All right. So we got 3 the hard way. We'll go up to another team that moves around quite a bit. LA, St. Louis. LA back to St. Louis. We got the Rams.
This one's gonna be tough.
They had a pretty nice list. I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna go 3, but I think we could go 5. I think we could definitely go 4, but I'm gonna back off because the list was pretty decent. So
I'm going to say 3. I'm looking at that going, yeah, that's 3, and I've used a former person from another list on this list too. So yeah, I've got 3. I'm just going to say 3 is pretty much safe at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off with number 5, the general of the greatest show on turf, former arena football. Speaking of that, St. Paul Saints Bears kick off their season this Saturday in arena football action in Iowa. That show will be coming 1 o'clock Central Time. But former Green Bay Packer, former Arizona Cardinal, former Ram,
former Giant.
I want to say he's in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think
Yes.
He is? Okay. One Kurt Warner.
Well, right off the rip, this is funny. It's not C2C unless you're sniping. Well, I don't have to say it. My number 5 is your number 5, and it's not the Kurt Warner that played for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, it's Kurt Warner. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna snipe me in the next one too.
Well, number 4 is the running back of the greatest show on turf, Mr. 1,000 yard rusher and receiver. I think he spent a little time in Indy. One Marshall Faulk.
Little time. Go ahead. It's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 4 is your number 4. You should have been in the living room on draft day. You thought if we had the show of draft day back then in '98, you would have seen me lose my ever loving mind the moment we traded Marshall Faulk to the at the time the St. Louis Rams for some guy I couldn't even pronounce his name, Edgerrin James, and the thing now there's an Edgerrin Cooper that plays for Green Bay because of Edgerrin James. You would have seen me lose my mind because I thought, oh, we're going to trade Marshall Faulk, and look who's sitting right there because we picked before you have to remember we picked before the Saints.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, oh, we're going to get Ricky Flippin' Williams. Then all of a sudden, from the University of Miami, I'm like, who in the blue blazing hell are they going to pick now? And then they said Edgerrin James. I'm like, well, we have just decided to go 3-13 again this year.
James didn't turn out to be a bad back.
No, Hall of Famer. Can't argue that.
Yeah. All right. My number 3, recent retired. What's that?
I'm like hearing cops. Go ahead.
My number 3, recent retired defensive end. I got his ring.
You got it? Did you buy it from him?
I wish.
You said I got his ring. I'm like, wait, I got his ring. Wait, what?
Got his ring. Aaron Donald.
I'm not gonna even mention I forgot all about Aaron Donald. I forgot all about Aaron Donald. We're gonna get hate mail for that one, I think. My number 3, a member of the greatest show on turf. Matter of fact, was just put in. Okay. I'm looking at the comments. I was like, I didn't know where that came from.
We're not gonna bypass that one.
Okay, but probably the carbon copy of what we had in Indy, the Marvin Harrison to the St. Louis Rams at the time, otherwise known as the Deacon, Hall of Famer himself. My number 3 is Isaac Bruce. Wait, we're on Twitch. We're on Twitch.
Yeah, we got a little Twitch account. I was just gonna look how to block that, but back to what we're doing. Not C2C except we're sniping the phrase that pays. I got Isaac Bruce, the third monster of that greatest show on turf. You sniped him at 3. I got him at 2. You're number 2.
Well, you're gonna hate me in life at this point because I went old school for the last 2. I I went Florida Gator. So I went Florida Gator at number 2. I think he played a game with a broken leg. Part of the fearsome foursome that played back in the day. Matter of fact, I think 2 of my last 2 are part of the fearsome foursome of the Rams organization. My number 2 is the former Gator himself, Jack Youngblood.
Former wrestler too, I think.
Believe so.
I could be wrong on that. But my number 1,
strong number 1. You should. Yeah.
I'm the number 1. My number 1. I think for a minute he got banned from the team recently for his comments. But again, you think of Rams, you think of him. Every time I see his card, it just looks so sweet. With the goggles under the mask. Eric Dickerson.
Son of a. Oh my God.
What?
No. This one was tough. This one, I gotta explain. This one was tough. Oh my God, I forgot about Eric Dickerson too. Oh my God!
Like I said, the list was big, so I mean,
the list was huge. But I'm going, wait a minute, who did I miss? You said Eric Dickerson. I'm like, oh shit. Because Eric Dickerson, I've got an Eric Dickerson autograph of him in a Rams jersey, and that makes it so much worse. Well, and I don't feel so bad because of who my number 1 is.
Okay.
A guy who has came out before he passed away, came out and said that he is the true record holder of sacks in a career. But they weren't counting sacks back then. And the guy who is famously known for throwing an arm club at linemen's heads to get past linemen, my number 1 is Deacon Jones.
Yeah, I saw Deacon Jones on there. Like I said, it was a good list.
It was a great list. Could be Chris Everett. We could say it could have been Chris Everett, like Jim Rome. Jim Rome kept calling Jim Everett Chris Everett, and I thought Jim Everett was.
Did he have a big blow up on that? He's like, do it one more time.
He threw the table. He says, "You call me Chris one more time, I'm going to come over there and kick your ass." And I'm like, "Oh wow."
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the Baltimore Ravens / the old Cleveland Browns.
Just to clean that.
Yeah, they are the Baltimore Ravens, but originally they were the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they were originally that. Yeah,
and that's one thing I got to give props to the Browns in Cleveland. You thought you got your name, you got your whole
history back,
and then you get an expansion team that got the history. So, So
yeah.
Well, with that being said, we got the Baltimore Ravens up here. Again, a list that we could go 5, we could go 4.
I honestly think we're going 4.
I was thinking 4 because there's 4. Well, I'll go 4. I'll stick with it. So kick it off.
Well, a guy who just basically, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to put this guy on my list, even though he just got cut from the team at the beginning because of stupid stuff, because of his Bill Belichick, his Robert Kraft type of ways. But a guy who, if I'm not mistaken, is the NFL record holder for the longest field goal in history. God, this is one of those guys, if you were coming in and you needed a field goal, he was going to kick you a field goal. Guy, I think, is going to the Hall of Fame. I don't care what he did off the field, but this guy should be in the Hall of Fame right behind him. Right behind Vanderjag. No, not behind Vanderjag, our drunken, as Peyton calls him, our drunken Canadian kicker. But behind Vinatieri, the other non-drunken kicker we had. But my number 5 is Justin Tucker. Wow, that's the one I thought I got away with.
No, you talk about clutch kicking, and if they would add in the preseason record, he would not have the longest kick.
No, because of Cam Little for Jackson.
Man, that was a
that thing was sweet. That thing was sweet to watch.
I think that was good from 72, I think, actually.
73, yeah.
But yeah, I got Justin Tucker on there. Active player, but like you said, just got cut. So that's why I was just like, I got 2 or 3 active players on here. But
you got 2 or 3 active players. I've got no active players at this point.
I got 1 more active player.
Well, we're not going 5 then. But I want to double check. But this offensive tackle basically was the anchor to every offensive line that Baltimore had. To me, arguably top 3 offensive tackles in history. I absolutely love this guy. If I were anybody who was watching offensive tackles and wanted to learn from somebody, this is the guy I would learn from. I absolutely, and I was a lineman in high school. Mm-hmm. Just making sure that I'm right on this. I can't even spell his name. But in the Hall of Fame, I know he's in the Hall of Fame because this would have been stupid if they didn't put this guy in the Hall of Fame. But my number 4 is Jonathan Ogden.
Oh, yeah, saw him on there. I thought you were going somewhere else, but once you said Hall of Fame, I'm like, I don't think it's in the Hall of Fame. But my number 4, my number 4, monster on defense. I think he, along with his counterparts, probably the second best defense around all time. I'm going number 4, Terry Shrugs.
Terrell Suggs. Wow.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
My number 3. He could be on 2. He could be on 2 lists, and we were talking about. We already talked about 2 guys earlier with the when we were talking about the San Diego Chargers and Kellen Winslow and adding up and Antonio Gates as being the best tight ends in the league. You got to add this one to the list. You put this guy up against. You put this guy. He could put this guy in 2 different lists between Denver and the Ravens. Was the guy was just seen at the Hall of Fame inducting his brother into the Hall of Fame. Probably had the most emotional speech I've seen in when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I completely agree with his take that his brother was a better athlete, should be in the Hall of Fame in 2025. We look like we were lucky enough to get him in the Hall of Fame. My number 3 is Shannon Sharp.
Oh, shoot. I forgot about Shannon Sharp.
Oh, so I don't feel so bad about missing Aaron Donald.
Yeah. I forgot about Shannon Sharp. Yeah, that was – yeah. My number 3, another defensive player. I'm trying to think now. Was it safety or linebacker? He moved from safety to linebacker. Anyways, again, part of that Ravens defense, again, fantasy, if you're daring enough to take them early, you're taking the Ravens first back in the late 90s, early 2000s. One, Ed Reed.
Wow, you make this so easy that I don't have to explain anything. Because it came out, the funny thing is, my 2 and 1 came out the same year from the same college in the same draft. But it's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 2 is your number 3, Ed Reed.
My number 3 is my active player.
Number 3. No, that was your number. Your Ed Reed was your number 3.
Yeah, my number 2. I'm sorry. Okay. My number 2 is my active player. Again, if you followed me on other sports shows, podcasts, this guy should have been a Viking. I think Vikings passed him up. He went 2 picks later to Baltimore. I think it would have been a good quarterback competition between him, Keenum, and Teddy Bridgewater. But
there wouldn't have been a competition.
Well, I think going into the season it would have been Case Keenum's job to lose, and then Lamar would have taken over.
he'd have lost it week 3 of the preseason.
Oh yeah, he probably would have. He probably would have. But I'm just saying. But you know, if you're the Vikings, you draft this guy and say, hey, it's open competition, but it is Case's job. If you know, it's Case's job to lose. But my number 2 is Lamar Jackson.
I saw that. I saw that kid in the bowl game. Was it the Fiesta Bowl against Florida? And I look at that and I'm going, okay, this guy, how, because he's from Florida originally, and they were talking about how Florida didn't even offer him a scholarship, didn't even offer him an invite. And I'm like, oh, how did you not do that? Because this was after Tebow. This was after Tebow was getting ready to go. Cam had just left 2 years before that, 2 years before that to go to junior college. And then you have to play the guy you don't offer an invite to, at least to look at. And he made Florida regret not looking at him, because he was from Miami, if I'm not mistaken, or he was either from Miami or Orlando, and it was weird. They're all like, oh yeah, he didn't even get looked at. He got looked at by Florida State. He got looked at by Central. He got looked at by South Florida. He got looked at by Jacksonville State. He got looked at by Miami, and didn't get looked at all by Florida. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he basically told us, yeah, here you go. You're an idiot.
All right, you're number 1.
My number 1 is the other player that was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in the same draft that Ed Reed was drafted by. I honestly don't understand what the whole kerfluffle was about the whole thing in Atlanta. He did nothing wrong. It's not like he was the one that committed the murder. I have no problems with him. I just don't. I think he's a great guy. Everything I've seen, I'm just not a fan of him. He went to the U. If he would have went to Florida State, I'd have a bigger problem. Just joking. My number 1 is Ray Lewis.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, the beast in the middle. It was hard to run on. I mean, that Ravens team was hard to run on. But yeah, Ray Lewis, number 1. I mean, yeah, you can talk about his off the field antics in that Super Bowl week, whatever. Did he do it? Did he not? Was he part of it? You know, who cares? You know, I should say who cares, but you know, we're talking about on the field. Definitely, I gotta go Ray Lewis. So,
well, the funny thing is, most people forget about that defense. The year that they won the Super Bowl with Dilfer as the quarterback, it was Tony Banks. That there was a 6-week period where the offense didn't score a touchdown.
Nope.
They went. What they did. Tony Banks was a quarterback for 3 of those games.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't score a touchdown. They were winning. The thing is, they were still winning. That was the sad thing.
The defense. I that this might be a debate on a different show, you know, somewhere down the road, but you know, maybe we need to break down what the 85 Bears and the Ravens did that year. Was it? 26? 06?
It was I think it was no, because 06 was Indy. I think it was.
Was it 2001?
2003. I want.
It might be something to look into and dive deep into breaking that down. So
right,
but yeah, I actually kind of forgot about that 6-week span where the offense didn't do nothing. You know,
2001.
Okay. All right, so let's get into the King of the North, the Detroit Lions.
I'm gonna say I didn't put the Packers on here.
What's that?
I'm like, I didn't put the Packers on here.
Yeah. I think there's definitely I do have a double up again. But I definitely see a possibility of 3 with the double up, maybe 4. So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking 3.
Yeah.
3's pretty solid.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to go with my number 5. They call him one of the original ball hawks on the defensive side. Lemmy Barney.
Oh, you went Lem Barney. Oh, I thought you were going some other way. I'm like, Lem Barney. I'm like, oh no. He really pulled out a Lem Barney. I'm like, he went one of the originals. I'm like, oh shoot, who did he pick? But yeah, I don't know if this guy's is he in the Hall of Fame? Let me double check. I want to make sure this guy's not. Because I thought he was, but he's not. Wow, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. That's weird. All right. My number 5, offensive lineman. That people keep saying that Barry Sanders, I'm going to say this now. I'm going to say this loud enough for people in the back. Said that Barry Sanders didn't have an offensive line to run behind. I'm going to beg to differ. He had one guy. I know of one guy because
one guy, yeah,
one guy, and he happened to be the backside tackle to make sure that Eric Hipple and yeah, I said Eric Hipple. People are in the back going, "Who in the world is Eric Hipple?" Eric Hipple, Scott Mitchell, Rodney Peete, Eric Kramer. I think Messaround's too young to remember who Eric Kramer is in Chicago.
Andre Ware,
Don Mikowski. At this point, we could be throwing tons of spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. But the backside tackle, I honestly think this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. If he's not, according to his Wikipedia page, he's not. So I don't know. But it's a shame that if he's not, he should be. My number 5 is Lomas Brown.
My number 4 linebacker in the day. I think now he's turned into, if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, turned into one heck of a money guy for the Vikings, and now he's with Buffalo, I think. I could be wrong on that one. But Chris Spielman.
I know the longest for the while there, he did the Matt Millen route where he was an announcer for college football.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't remember where Chris Spielman is.
Yeah.
That's all
right. Go ahead. You're number 4.
My number 4. I'm hoping a buddy of mine, Mike Swan, is watching this because he's probably going to lose his mind when I say this next one. A guy who, again, when they were talking about how Calvin Johnson played with nobody on the team and couldn't do anything, he had no quarterback, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, well, that got proven to be a lie, especially when he takes another team that was on who he did already today, the Rams, to a Super Bowl. It's kind of funny that he didn't have anything you don't get your numbers unless you don't have a quarterback. And yet I still remember the time where he throws a nice deep pass and he's looking at his arm and he couldn't hand off on a 2-point conversion. And because he pulled his arm out of socket. But I know there's a lot of people that aren't going to agree with me, but my number 4 is Matthew Stafford.
Stafford's a current player.
Yeah, but not with the Lions anymore.
I see what you're saying. Spielman was not the Spielman I was thinking about. Yeah,
you're thinking of Scott Spielman?
Yeah, I don't know, but no, Chris Spielman, yeah, announcer. Then he's part of the staffing of executive assistant to the owner and CEO of the Lions. So it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same Chris I was thinking of. So, all right. So that was your number 4. My number 3, again, defensive side. I think the nickname himself that he has, Night Train, fits. And that is Dick Night Train Lane.
Is it Dick? I thought it was Bobby.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's Dick.
Oh. Well, just to let you know, it's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 3, your number 3, I think it is Dick Night Train Lane, to be honest. Well, I don't know why I got Bobby Lane. I don't.
Tim.
Dick Night Train Lane. Yep, Richard Lane. I even spelled it wrong when I looked it up. It's Dick Night Train Lane. I've got Bobby Night Train Lane, but he's probably the alter ego of Dick, I guess.
So that was a snipe there. All right.
Yes, it was.
All right. My number 2, a pair of wide receivers that, again, it's one of those things where you talk about the greatest. They both kind of put their face on the map. I think one of them, matter of fact, I think both at the time held the record for most receptions in a season, and I think the other one beat the other one. What's that?
At one point, because I was at the Cleveland Indy game when Marvin Harrison broke the record in 2001.
Yeah. So I got at number 2A Calvin Johnson, number 3 or 2B Herman Moore.
Yeah, I remember I was there and I was losing my mind in Cleveland when Marvin broke the record. I'm like, don't do that in the dog pound. That's all I'm going to tell you.
You're number 2.
Matter of fact, the one picture that I've got that's on my Facebook page where, because those guys surrounded by 4 guys from the Naval Academy, from Great Lakes Naval Academy, who were there to watch the game. Was at the game. It was at the Cleveland game that was taken in Cleveland. Well, it's not C2C unless we're sniping. My 2 is your 2A. Calvin Johnson.
All right. My number 1, Detroit Lions. If it's anybody else but this guy, I don't know, but I mean, to me, I think a better offensive line. We're talking he's holding records that nobody's going to break. I still will say he's probably the greatest back of all time. Some will argue. I can understand the arguments, but I got Barry Sanders.
Yeah, it's not C2C. I'm doubled up on one. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Only because they were the same number, went to the same university, which is really screwed up. And the funny thing is, 2 years prior, Billy Sims, BS, Barry Sanders, BS, Oklahoma State, war number 20, both running backs, both won the Heisman Trophy. But then the funny thing is, if Billy Sims doesn't get hurt and retires 3 years before, they don't draft Barry, and Green Bay drafts Barry.
Yep. And the funny thing is, you talk about Billy Sims, and some cards that he pulls got him cutting, and it looks just like Barry Sanders.
Oh, it does.
Every time I see that card, and the guy is like, "Oh, Billy Sims," it's just like, are you sure that's not Barry? I mean,
was it the 84 tops? 84 tops or the 80? It was the 85 tops. It's the same movement. And the thing is, if you look at the face masks on the 85 were thicker, compared to Barry's where it was thinner, and that's the only way you can tell that they're different.
Yeah. All right, so we got through our ranks. Let's get into our favorite topic, the blind 5. Again, if you're first time watching the show, we pick a category, each of us. We don't tell the other person the category. We got 5 parts of it, and we rank them without knowing what the next one is. So, all right. So I like my topic. I'll go first.
Okay.
My blind 5, since we're going into the NFL season, and I kind of hope I sniped you for a prime 5 on Blitz one of these days. I am going to give you 5 names of possibility MVPs that are not quarterbacks.
I'm gonna tell you, not this. It's not gonna be for this show.
So these are your ranking of possibility of these guys winning MVP if they are not quarterbacks.
If they're not quarterbacks. Right. Okay.
Your first selection, because I couldn't think of a name, anybody on the defensive side of the ball.
5. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't think it is, but there's a couple names that jumped out at me. Like TJ Watts jumped out there, and I was like, well, there's got to be some defensive alignment. So I'm just like, we'll put the field out there. So you got him at 5. All right.
Yeah, I got him at 5.
Jamar Chase.
There was a good year. It would have been last year. They had a better record. I think last year was a good year. I say 3. 2. Yep. No, give me 2. Give me 2.
You want 2?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Again, another one. If it was going to be a good year, last year was a good year. I'm going to say 3. I'm holding out hope that you have this one player.
Barkley.
1. That was the guy I was holding out hope on.
I thought about switching it up because I think if this guy has a good year too, he could possibly throw it up there. Justin Jefferson. That would be your number 4.
It'd be my number 4.
Yeah.
It'd be good. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that hurts, and this is the thing that's hurt Justin in the last 2-3 years. You have quarterbacks that don't find him in the red zone. Yep. It's all of a sudden, and I looked at this, and I will bring back the game that I hate talking about in between Minnesota and Indy, but that 33-0 game at halftime.
Yep.
That game would have been so much closer going into halftime if they just didn't forget that Justin Jefferson plays for the team.
Yep.
He's good.
Mean, heck, we could have kicked the field goal. It would have been closer than 33-0 at halftime.
Right, and it's like he's amazing from 0 to, and he's still to me to this day. I still think he had one of the best catches in the entire season against Indy, but you remember him between between the goal line and the 20, and then all of a sudden it's like you get a concussion and forget that he's on the team.
Yep.
And I had him that year. I had him that year in fantasy football, and I'm like, what did he have? He ended with 6 touchdowns? You just forget him.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing too with Moss at points when he was here. They forgot about him a lot of times in the red zone. It's just like, dude, he's your best receiver. He could jump out of the gym. Jefferson's the same way, He could jump out of the gym, throw him the ball, get it up there. We got Hawkinson, we got Addison, now Thielen. You got a running back that could catch. So he's probably going to get missed again. So if he's not scoring outside the 20, on those long bombs, it's going to be a tough one. But
and the thing is with Moss, and and to be honest, to me, I'm surprised Moss didn't win an MVP in Minnesota. The fact is, you're playing opposite. You had Carter on the other side of the field. You had Josh Reed playing the slot. You had at the time, what was it, Jordan? You had Jordan playing tight end.
Yep, Stephen Jordan. Yep.
Stephen Jordan, right?
And you had a heck of a running back.
And you had inside the 20. Hell, you even still had Robert Smith who could catch out of the backfield too.
Yep.
But it's like, okay, you've got all this, and yet you've got guys who all you got to do is all you had to do for Moss was to basically now have Josh. You got Addison and Thielen. You got Thielen who could play the slot. You got Addison who could play the floater. And all you got to do is have Justin Jefferson basically run a post corner and float.
Yep. No, and Ryan Hendricks, welcome. And he's right. He has an unproven quarterback right now. So, it's going to be slim to none. But again, you just never know. I mean, it's a quarterback award. We know a quarterback's going to win it, which sucks. Unless Barkley puts up 2,000+ yards, it's going to be a quarterback that wins the MVP. So, all right. So, let's get into your topic for me. This should be interesting.
Considering it has nothing to do with football. All right. Ryan's watching. He knows, just now realizing that Ryan's watching. If people know us, you and I are so much into extreme sports.
Okay.
We do extreme sports every weekend when we get a chance, especially when we were younger.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the bullshit line to come from Ryan.
I'm just playing along.
All right. So I'm going to see. I've got extreme things that you are most likely to do.
Is extreme down sledding on a sofa one of them?
That sounds fun, actually.
All right, what do we got?
My first one for you. I almost told you my order. Noodling.
Noodling.
You ever heard of noodling?
I believe I have. I'm trying to think.
That's
Because
where
I know there was one time we covered some of these extreme weird sports on Sportsman at one time.
it's where you get into a river and you go and you stick your arm into a hole and to go fishing with your arm.
Oh no. Well, it doesn't give Ryan, it doesn't take too much to confuse this guy. So
No, because he's a guy who eats crayons.
I would wow, call him out. Noodle, I would have to go 5 on that one.
You're not a big fisherman, or you just don't like sticking your hands in.
Yeah, I don't want to stick my hand. I'm not a big fisherman either, so.
Oh, okay.
All
right. So 5 for noodling. Okay.
Yeah.
Zip lining.
Nope. Afraid of heights. That's -10.
-10.
I would put zip lining.
At this point, you're. Good Lord, you're gonna not like where you're gonna go to, then, are you? Bungee jumping.
Oh Jesus! Are you noodling might be the best option out of here.
Like noodling sounds like it could be fun at this point. Ryan's been bungee jumping,
but Jesus,
bungee
the whole thing is it's just a height thing. I think it'd be kind of cool to go down and maybe bounce. I think the rush. I'll go 3.
Okay, well, it's going to get worse for you. Let's see. Do I go that way or do I go that way? Solo free climbing.
With nothing attached to me?
It's free climbing.
Yeah. God. I'm going backwards on this climbing. I'm going number 2, I guess.
Well, guess what? Now we're going to tell everybody your little secret. How many times have you been in an airplane?
Twice.
Wait, you've been in an airplane?
Yep. We moved to my ex-father-in-law or stepfather was in the Marines down in North Carolina.
He ate crayons too.
Yeah, so we moved down there the summer of 84 or 85.
That's before you went to
Michigan. And then we moved back. Home.
So your number 1, just so you know, is skydiving.
Yeah, you catch me doing that. This honestly would be reversed that I just gave you.
Obviously, I'm gonna do the one thing I said I'd never do. I'm gonna stick my hand into a big hole and expect that, and not expect to hit it.
So reverse bungee jumping. What the?
That's like what they do is they put it they take it and then they hook you like this, and then they let the clip go and you go off like a slingshot.
Oh, like a slingshot. Oh yeah, no way. No way. And we got our good friend Kevin Cherry. He will be joining us tonight for Blitz, Primetime Blitz, his first time on there.
Big B, I got a secret. Big B, I got a secret.
What's that?
Do you know who I play in fantasy football this week?
Well, I would guess that it's going to be either myself or Mr. Kevin Cherry.
It's Kevin Cherry.
All right. So you're going to get trash talk the new guy.
He's going to get that spanking early.
So yeah. So that's our show. The extreme sports. Yeah.
I thought of it. I was thinking of them going, I got one figured out because I know what Brandon doesn't like. Let's see if I can paint him into a corner.
Yeah, the one thing that I would be more deathly afraid of, I'd probably do first over going into anything to do with heights. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I would not be a good at fear factor, but
that was nerve-wracking. On my first airplane ride, I was 30 years old when I had my first airplane ride, and I was over a wing, and I'm like, oh, this is me. I was not having fun.
no, I mean being up in the air is cool, especially when you're going up and then you can still see everything. And how small it was, and then everything disappeared because you get into the clouds more, and then of course coming down, But yeah, I'm just definitely afraid of heights. Yeah,
I'm going to tell you, I'm like how definitely scared I am about it. That when I flew to leave the United States, I take red eyes, so it's dark the entire time. So I turn the lights off. The lights are off in the cabin of the airplane. I'm trying to fall asleep. Everything. I don't want to see anything. Oh my Lord, that's 8 hours of nerve-wracking bullshit.
All right, so Kevin Chair is calling it the Battle of the Ages for Week 1 in fantasy football. It's the C2C.
So basically, it's going to be like Cleveland versus New Orleans this week.
Great. So, all right. So with that being said, Tim, any final thoughts?
Well, the final thoughts. I like these. We're going to be doing this next week. If you've noticed, if Brandon hasn't noticed, that the last time we picked these two, they've been playoff teams and they've been the team. And they've been in order of team rankings in the playoffs, except for the Minnesota Indy one, because but yeah, I like these. I thought about it. I'm like, I couldn't remember what we did, and then I had to go back and do my notes and go, oh yeah, we were doing that. Thank you, Super Bowl. We're back on the football page again. Yay! No. But hey, everybody who's watching, except for Kevin Cherry, you can turn off for the rest of the night. You don't have to show up because I'm going to tell my secrets about who's going to win. Who's going to win our week this week? No, but besides that, I've got to wake up at 20 after 4 this morning to be ready for a show at 5 o'clock my time. Yep. So, I'm looking forward to that. The new primetime blitz. It's the first time I've ever gotten that right without calling it morning tailgate.
Yep. Rebranded, rejuvenated. The primetime blitz will be on our second week officially for the regular season. We'll give our playoff predictions. We got some of our top typical topics, primetime, the prime 5, Chris's history lesson, the one tough question, and then of course we'll break down the big trade that happened last week. In a few hours, I will be back on with Coach Cody as we give them I'll be back with we'll get the regular season roster for the St. Paul Bears as they prepare for their first game against the Iowa Power for arena football. Can't wait to talk with Cody on that. So you get me 3 times. I get the triple header tonight. So with that being said, we'll see y'all next week on Rank'em. Have a good one.